Well, welcome everyone, and welcome to Business Mastery Series for Direct Pay, brought to you twice a month by the wonderful people at Direct Pay. My name is Carol Vickers, and together with Liz Christofferson, we at Empower Consulting Group have had the privilege of hosting these webinars the past couple of years. It's been an honor to meet the amazing presenters and participate in some very lively discussions and some just absolutely amazing learning. Direct Pay is committed to the success of all small business entrepreneurs like yourselves. Through their great customer service team, you can learn more about how to increase your business's growth and sales. You can always contact them directly at www.directpayinc.com. That's directpayinc.com, and you can speak to someone personally for more information. Not just about credit card acceptance and online shopping carts, but they do mobile payments now too. Obviously moving ahead with what we need in our current business world. Direct Pay's Business Mastery Series has actually been designed to provide learning and education for business development for your organizations. These opportunities to learn from some of the top minds in business today are so incredibly worthwhile. And today is another chance to learn from one of the best. Jeanna Gabellini is a master business coach who assists high-achieving entrepreneurs and their teams to double and even triple their profits by leveraging intention, systems, and fun. She is also the co-author of Life Lessons for Mastering the Law of Attraction, which she wrote with Eva Gregory, Mark Victor Hansen, and Jack Canfield. She combines vision, divine guidance, and proven strategies. Jeanna delivers top-tier private coaching and sold-out seminars that have allowed committed entrepreneurs to blow past their self-imposed limits and ditch the drama of overwhelm and move into radical joy, inner peace, and ever-increasing profits. Her website is masterpeacecoaching.com, and peace is spelled P-E-A-C-E, like inner peace. I've had the great gift of spending a little time with Jeanna as we set up this webinar today, and I can tell you she is inspiring and wonderful to talk to. Jeanna, we welcome you today and look forward to you sharing your brilliance with us. I just want to manage one last detail, and that is just to let you know that there is not a visual presentation today. Jeanna will be speaking with us directly, so you're not missing anything. If you're not seeing a PowerPoint, please don't worry about that. We'll just have a lovely conversation, and Jeanna, there will be some time for questions at the end. Is that right?
That works for me. If you
Wonderful.
all have questions, I'm here to answer.
Okay, so if you have questions during the presentation or anything that you need to communicate, just put it in the chat box or the question box. I'll be managing to take care of that so that Jeanna is not interrupted. And we just look forward to learning so much from you. Take it away, Jeanna.
Okay, awesome. So back in the day, what happened is I'm a business coach, and working with so many people around creating strategies for their business, I kept figuring out, like, I would be working with the client, and about a few weeks into it, I was thinking, why are we not moving forward as fast as I feel like they could be in terms of putting things in place, growing their business, finding more joy? And it kept coming back to the same thing. We had to keep talking about money. And every time we would talk about money, it was like, we would get deep into the topic, and the people had so many emotional triggers around money that we spent a lot of time coaching around that before we could get anything in place to move forward on their business, because the money conversation permeates everything we do, right? Every single day we make choices in our business, either to make money or what to spend our money on if we're investing back into our business, or calling people like Direct Pay, trying to figure out systems to create our money. Like, money is infused in every single thing we do, and how we feel about money is what helps us make choices to say yes or no to the things that will work for us. So, like, let's say, well, for instance, I just wrote a book and a couple months ago, and as I'm deciding how we're going to, what are the cover images, the graphics we're going to use for the book cover, and who are we going to outsource the inside of the book to make it look pretty, you know, someone to go in and not only edit it, but make it look readable, a nice format, easy to read. And there was a part of me that thought, well, it's an ebook. We should just be able to hire somebody on Fiverr.com. And if y'all don't know about that resource, it's an awesome resource for doing all sorts of things that you might need in your business, from graphics, video help, anything you can think of. It's pretty crazy what's on there. It's Fiverr.com. And I thought, well, we could just hire somebody on Fiverr to format the inside of the book. And the more I thought about it, I thought, no, but I really want this book to be a bestseller. I know it's going to get in the hands of tons of people. If I am going to do like bestseller quality, how would I do the guts of my book? Who would do that for me? And so we did not go with Fiverr. Not to say that people on Fiverr are not great. I had people on Fiverr do a lot of great things for me. But I also know my preference is to talk to people while I'm trying to figure out a project. And you have to do everything through email on Fiverr. And I'm not so great with that. I like talking on the phone. If we have an issue, I want to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, I have this quick thing I want to talk about with you. So we hired somebody else, and it was a big difference in price. You know, we spent almost $1,000 on the graphics and formatting the inside of the book. But that was a choice based on, like, if I was just going to choose to do something on the cheap, I wouldn't have done it that way. But I was looking at the end outcome that I wanted, and if I was determining my choice who was going to do it by money, I would have gone on Fiverr.
Right.
And I wouldn't have probably had the same outcome. So there's just so many little choices that we're big, that we make on a day-to-day basis based on how we feel about money and based on our budget and based on all sorts of things around money. So it's important to get this money thing dialed in. So I have this membership program that I teach. I go down deep on one topic every single month. And we've taught on this topic many times, money. But what we ended up doing one month, I was just sitting there thinking as I was creating the agendas for the topic, I thought, you know, what I really want to tell people is the truth on how to make money faster is something that they won't believe. Because truly, I believe that creating money stems from an inner game first. Secondary, it's strategy. So if our mindset generates thoughts that align with making profit, then we will say yes to strategies that we put in place and inspired ideas and projects and new things that we sell that will work for us. But if our mindset is off, the whole system gets screwed up.
Right.
You know, and so often when we are trying to create more money, we say yes to all sorts of things that are not a fit for us. Like, we're just saying yes because we need the money. Like, we're desperate. And I've been there. I know it. I'll say yes to any client who wanted to work with me because I need the money right now. Because if I don't get that money right now, I can't pay my rent, and I'm not going to be able to pay my team. But when you continuously say yes to things that aren't a fit for you and say yes based on finances, we end up choosing a lot of things that don't work for our business, and it's all piecemeal together. Like, there's no flow because we're just in reaction all the time. We're taking random actions to market ourselves. We're saying yes to all sorts of people who aren't an ideal fit. They're not our ideal clients. So it's like we got to nail this money thing down. So back to me when I'm trying to create the agenda for this class on money, and what I really was thinking in my head was I just want to tell them that if they just go get happy, start doing things they really love in their business, the rest will take care of itself. And I'm like, I know they know that. Like, there's a part of them that will know that's the truth, but it's way too simple, and they're never going to trust that. So I need to come up with some formula. And then I just had this divine download, like, I know the formula. It's going to be, you know, a simple 6-step process, and it's going to be an acronym for profit, and it just flowed right out of me. So you're going to get that today because I've taught this many times, and when people hear this, they go, I'm making it all too hard. So I just want to help you find a way to create profits on a consistent basis with a formula that you can do over and over and over. And it's not a cookie cutter thing. It's like you stick your own rules of the game and your own preferences into this formula, and you're going to notice a huge difference right away in how you're feeling and what's coming into your bank account. So, are you ready? So,
Yes.
the first step is starts with a P, because remember we're working with the word profit here. And the first step is to perceive yourself as a massively profitable business owner. It's like there's no way you could conjure up a plan to be massively profitable unless you saw yourself as someone who could do that. So you need to be seeing yourself as if you're already making a lot of money, and that if you didn't have to focus hardcore on making money, how would you make decisions in your business? You would do what was best for your business, right? You would do what's best for your family, for your lifestyle. I have 2 children, so I'm always focused on how can I create balance. And if money wasn't the key factor, would I work later today, or would I get off at 4, like I told my nanny, and go play with the kids? So it's always like focus on the kids. Focus on what I can do now to live the lifestyle I want, as I make choices that will lead me into more profits. Because your choices are made from your desire, not from how. If you want to be making choices based on what's my vision, where am I taking my business, not how much money you currently have. You want to act as if you have more than enough. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to go out and spend all this money that you don't have and then stress out about it. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about step by step making choices based on where you think your business is headed. You want to take on the identity of a 6 or 7 figure or whatever is important to you business owner. Some of you could care less even about 6 figures. I know a lot of people, everybody's different, and a lot of people are not driven by making money. So you have to focus on the kind of lifestyle that you want to create, and someone that lives that lifestyle, or a certain kind of business that you want to create. Some people want to create a lifestyle business. I do. I want to travel. I want to be working in Italy and bring my kids over there. That's my goal for next year, is to go over there for 4 to 6 weeks and work from there. And I know there are certain things that I have to have in place before I go do that, because obviously I'll take on more expenses being on a, quote, vacation for 6 weeks and having a nanny come help me with the kids while I'm working. So you want to start making choices now as if you are geared up. It's a sure deal that you are headed towards the business that you have in your head. You want to get it on paper and start making decisions that will lead to that. So you want to perceive yourself as a massively profitable business owner. I want to give you an example of this. Last year, I decided I was going to have what I call a big girl launch. I wanted to launch a program and have affiliates and promotional partners help me spread the word. Because, I have a lot of people who have been on my email list since I first started my e-zine, which is, I think it's probably about 16 years ago that I decided that I was going to first have a monthly e-zine, and then it went to weekly. But I needed to reach outside of my, quote, pond of people and reach outside of that and reach more people with my message. And I said, okay, well, this is bigger than anything I've ever done before. What do I want as a result of doing this big girl launch? And after a bunch of hemming and hawing about what I thought was possible, I decided, well, if I'm going to do this and go through all the energy and effort to put all these pieces in place and launch this new program, why wouldn't I go for just something outrageous? Like, why wouldn't I play to make more than enough rather than just seeing what I could pull off and let's see what happens, right? So I decided I was going to have a 6-figure launch, which for me was a big deal. I had never done anything close to that, launching one program. It was a coaching program that was 10 weeks. So every single time I made a choice in my business, I just asked myself, if I'm going to make 6 figures on this, how would I set this up? What would I say yes to? What would my strategies be? And I just kept coming from that place every single time I made a choice. And guess what? I pulled it off. And it was a huge stretch. And I'll probably use that example a lot during this presentation, just because it was such a huge aha moment about really living this formula that I'm giving you today. So I just want to let you know that it doesn't always, just because you take on that identity of a 6-figure business owner, doesn't mean that you won't still get afraidies and get scared to make a move or doubt that you're going to be able to pull this off. Because I had to keep doing my little self-talk in my head about, okay, I don't really necessarily believe at this moment I'm going to make 6 figures, but let's just pretend if I were, what choice would I make in this moment?
Right.
So hopefully that's clear. And if it's not, write your question down, because we are going to be coaching you up later. All right, so the second step in this process starts with an R. Receive everything that comes to you with extreme appreciation. And what I mean by that is every single time you get a sale, I don't care if it's $10, I want you to be in appreciation around that, because every single sale you make, or every inquiry, anytime somebody is even mildly interested in what you do, that is evidence that you are on the right track. And so often what we're used to doing is, we're waiting for the big contract, or the big money client, or a lot of sales at once, like in my launch. And we're waiting for that thing to happen, and then we'll get excited, and then we'll think that we're doing well. And what we end up doing when we just look for the big sales is that we're not seeing the possibility in what could be happening right now. So for instance, I don't do it anymore, but now I just have an MP3. But I used to give away a free CD up until just a few months ago. And people could either download the free audio as an MP3 or a CD. But when they ordered a CD, I would pop it in the mail myself from my house and put cute little stickers all over the package, put my business card in there, and sometimes I'd probably put another free little gift in there. And I did this on purpose, because every single time I wanted to send one of those out, I wanted to be clear that I was infusing that thing with energy and appreciating it, knowing that that CD, while it might be free, that could end up being a $50,000 sale for me if that person took on VIP coaching and was a repeat customer. And so rather than saying, oh gosh, I got to go down to the post office and put this thing in the mail, this is a big pain in the butt. It was all about appreciation, that knowing that every single inquiry is evidence that I'm on my right path, I'm doing something right. And more evidence is coming, and it's all perfect in this moment. Because most of us are downplaying the evidence. Like, oh, $20 sale, who cares? Give me the big stuff. Wish it were more. We get in our head about all that inner game stuff, that it's not enough. And when you're focused on not enough, you don't have access to your own guidance about the right and perfect strategies that will get you more money. So for me, when I'm focused on that free CD, let me tell you something. I do not just think it's a free CD. I have a great follow-up sequence in place. So when someone gets that, when they get my freebie, they get emails that are very congruent and giving them tips about what they got in that free CD. And I'm just really helping them to connect the dots to what the next step is that they need to take with me. And I write them very personally, and I take my time. I don't just do a follow-up sequence because it's, quote, the right thing to do, good follow-up. I dig into my own inner guidance and say, what does people really need? If they're downloading the CD and it's on this particular topic, it's around, ditching overwhelm, and, it's all about getting in alignment with your vision of your business and putting some strategies in place, then how do I want to follow up with that as if I'm talking to a live person in front of me that I actually care about? So I'm using true language that's true for me from my heart, rather than seeing it as just, quote, marketing. It's a way for me to connect with people, and I take it serious. I mean, don't get serious about it, about being in my head, but I take it serious that this is a great way for me to follow up and connect with people who are interested in my business. And so you want to be focused on every single thing that comes in with extreme appreciation, knowing that it could lead to the big bucks down the road. And you want to enjoy the process. You don't want to wait till you just have the big money. You could be waiting a long time, right? If your head's not in the right place, and you won't be enjoying in your business until you get the big sale. And you want to be enjoying it every step of the way, because when you're in joy, that's when the best ideas get downloaded into your brain. You hook up with the right people, the right resources to put everything you need in place and make the vision come true. So the third step starts with an O, and that is create oneness with your ideal customers. So what you want to do is a little bit what I was just talking about a moment ago, which is You want to get up in their heads and their hearts. You want them to feel that every word that comes out of your mouth, whether it's in print, through an audio, on video, through marketing, through, live interactions, or if you're a speaker and you're on stage, whatever it is that you do, you want them to feel that you are so up in their heads they cannot believe you are saying the magic words. You know exactly how they feel, and you're serving up an easy solution for whatever it is that they're looking for. So the way I like to do this is a bit woo-woo, and I say it up front because most people, they're like, oh yeah, I get that. But they don't understand that this just takes a few minutes, and you will get some very solid marketing strategies from this. Or you'll just instantly get some really clear language on how to speak to people where they will understand what your offer is and say yes so much faster than they have previously. So here's what I do. I push away from my computer, and I either just sit back in my chair, or I go for a walk, or I might go sit in my backyard because that's where I feel peaceful. No stress. I'm not trying to make anything happen. And I just imagine the kind of people that I want to say yes to my offer. So in the case of last year, when I was launching my program for the first time, it's called Profit Quest, I just thought about all the people I wanted to see in that class who would be ideal for what I was teaching. And I imagined they were sitting in front of me, and we were having this like heart-to-heart conversation, and I was asking them questions. What is it, what do you need in order to hear, what do you need to hear from me in order to say yes? What do you, like my program is all about getting in sync with money. So what are you most stressed around money? What would help you get relief? What do you need to hear most from me in order to say yes to this program? And I just opened myself up to receive, and it was amazing. I would get answers, exactly the exact language I needed to say in my marketing, or sometimes my marketing wasn't, my marketing was already done. So maybe I was just worried that nobody was signed up for the program. And so I would sit back and I would just connect with the people that I thought would be coming into the program. And I would just hear the words, I'm on my way, meaning they were on their way to saying yes. Like, no worries. Don't get your panties in a wad, girl. Relax. And that would calm me down. So this is about having that heart-to-heart connection, higher self, your higher self to their higher self, connecting with the powwow here. You're going to have a conversation to find out what it is that they need from you. This is not about convincing them about what needs to be done. This is about hearing what they need, heart to heart. And then you follow up with any inspired actions that you get from that conversation. Because the way that you need to be communicating with your ideal customers in your marketing, or when you're speaking on stage, or when you're having an interaction with them and maybe somebody's on the fence about saying yes to your products or your services, you want to be able to be 100% authentically you. Even if what you're implementing or what you're saying, other people might think you're a nutcase. Because sometimes the thing that you feel most guided to do after having this heart-to-heart conversation with your ideal customers may not seem like exactly the thing that your marketing coach told you, or what you read on a blog of somebody who's like a Facebook expert or a marketing ninja. It will just be coming from your own inspired idea. It will feel authentic and true to you, and you got to run with it. In fact, I did this free offer. I think it was last year was the first time we offered it, because I was doing a free giveaway, and in this free giveaway that I was doing, that I knew I needed to have a follow-up sequence once people downloaded the freebie. But I was in a hurry, and I just thought, I cannot make this complicated. I got a lot going on right now. So what can I just say from my heart? I tapped into what the people that would be downloading it, where they would be in their life and their business. And I just wrote as if I was writing them a letter. Like, I already knew them. I knew exactly what their issues were. And it was just like this 3 little short paragraph thing. I never had such a huge response to any follow-up email in my life. In fact, it was so crazy good that I got an instant overwhelm. People were writing me back and saying, oh my gosh, yes, this was so awesome. I want to talk to you. And I thought, okay, this is a really good problem to have, But holy macaroni, I did not expect that kind of response from something that was so easy for me to create. And the only reason it was easy is because I wasn't trying hard. I was just having that conversation with them in my head and then writing down all my thoughts on paper, and that's what we sent out. Easy peasy, and it worked. So trust whatever you're getting, don't second guess it, and then you can adjust as you see results, show up. If you don't get results, then go back and do this exercise again. So far we have 3 steps. One is perceive yourself as a massively profitable business owner. Second step, receive everything that comes to you with extreme appreciation and see it for what it is. It's evidence that you're on the right path. And third, you're creating oneness with your ideal customers. You're envisioning already working with them and being able to tap into the essence of who they are and ask them what they need before they say yes to you. Fourth, starts with the F, feel into your offerings. This is my homework to all of you. First and foremost, when you get off this presentation today and you go back into your business, I would like you to go calendar some time to go do this one. So feeling into your offerings means, let me go back and I'm going to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 everything that I offer. So my services, my products, like do I like the way this is structured? Do I like the content? Do I like the way these are set up, the structure of it? Do I like my business hours? Like I need to feel into all pieces of this offering. And if it's on a scale of 1 to 10, if it's not a 10, like, oh, hell yes, I love selling the thing, or I love working with people in this way. If it's not a 10, then you need to go back and figure out how to restructure it or redesign it in a way that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, now I feel like this is 100% professional. It's 100% me, and it 100% feels good. And that means all the way down to not only the content, but the pricing. You've got to love your pricing. If it's too low, and you know it's too low, then you're not aligned with it. And there's going to be resentment, and it's going to make you feel less than, and it's that whole scarcity mentality. If it's priced too high, like if you think that, wow, I feel like I'm asking too much, nobody's going to say yes. If you can't align with that pricing and believe in it, even though it's too high, the same thing's going to happen. You're going to feel like you're coming from scarcity, you're not giving enough value, and people aren't going to say yes. Because when you feel good about your pricing and your offering, you talk about it in a totally different way. You're not out there, beating down the door saying, this thing is your ideal solution. You are going to love it. You don't say it like that because you feel timid because there's some piece of the offer that doesn't feel quite right to you. I remember a few years ago when I was pregnant with my second son, I was working with a marketing coach, and I was trying to figure out ways that I could leverage my time because I already had one son. I knew how much time kids take up, and I knew I was going to have to pull back my workload even more. And I thought, what is a way for me to leverage what I'm doing? I can't keep working with all my one-on-one clients. I need a higher end, a way for people to coach with me, but in a group setting. So I created a mastermind program. And I didn't think the price was that high. I thought it was a good deal for what we were offering. But the marketing coach told me, oh, you should not put the price on your website because that will make it seem more exclusive, and you don't want people to judge it on the price. If it's too much for them, they won't contact you, and blah, 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 right? There was all these reasons for not putting it on the website. And a lot of them sounded like solid reasons, but there was some part of me that didn't feel good about it. I thought, I don't like not having the price on there. I know that when I go to websites, if I don't see the price, that scares the you-know-what out of me. I automatically think there's a reason why the price isn't on here, and that means it's super high priced. And that's what I was thinking in my head. So I wasn't congruent with not putting that price up on the web page. And guess what? Immediately I got feedback of people saying that to me. Wow, Jeanna, I just went to your sales page. It looked really good, but you didn't have the price on it. So I figure it's out of my price range. And luckily the people that were telling me that, I had had experience with them in the past. Maybe they had bought another product or a program of mine. So I thought, thank you for telling me the truth. You just confirmed what I was already feeling, and I want to go put the price back on the website. So If something doesn't feel quite right, stop the presses. It's time for a little makeover, or do whatever it is that you need to do in order to make it feel good. And sometimes you'll blow things off because they just feel so minute. I know sometimes when my team is creating a new graphic, for one of our products or a new logo, and sometimes I'll think, wow, most of that logo looks pretty good, but there's something bothering me about the font, right, of the text on it. Like, it's just not quite right. It doesn't exude that feeling that I want. And I'll think, well, whatever, they've been working on that. We've already done so many revisions. Let it go. Let's just get this thing up. I'm like, nope. Don't do that, girl, because every single time I let something slide that's little like that, it's like an irritant in the background. And when you have an irritant, whether you think so or not, it will impact the sales, your outcome in the end, because you do things different when you are solid and you feel proud about whatever you're offering from the beginning to the end. You know how sometimes I'll set up a sales page for one of my programs, and I'll think, that looks great. And then I'll offer it, a couple years down the road, maybe I haven't taught it in a while, and I'll say, you know what, I want to teach that program again. And that will be easy. It's something that's already created. And then I go back and look at the sales page I wrote a couple of years back, and I think, oh my gosh, who wrote that? That is horrible. I can't believe people signed up for that before. That's just the worst sales page I've ever seen. And that's because we're always evolving. So just because you love something when you first created it doesn't mean that you still love it. And you might feel that way about things that you've been offering for a while. Maybe you started it, 5 years ago because that's what your clients were wanting, and it was a hot offering, and now it's just kind of gone stale for you. But you keep offering it because it makes you money, but your heart's not really in it. So you want to come back to every single thing that you offer and do inventory. Do I love it? Do I love the sales page? Do I love the marketing? Do I like the content? I was just talking with one of my clients today who said, I have this product that I've been selling for a couple of years, and it really bothers me because it was great when I first started doing it, but the topic of the content it's like an ever-changing niche, and so she always has to do these updates, and she feels like the package is not totally updated. So the sales have been kind of ho-hum, and I said, I know exactly why your sales have been ho-hum, because you're not feeling innovative, and you don't want to innovate right now because you're not proud of the product. She's like, you know what, you're exactly right. It's been frustrating me. The sales page frustrates me, the content, but I haven't found an easy way to revamp it. So today our whole coaching session was on how can we revamp this and get it to not only are you proud of it, but you think this is so hot that you are feeling like this is going to be a bestseller. And how would you create it if you knew that you wanted it to be so good that the people who bought it loved it so much that they were your greatest source of sales is by them referring it to other people because it was just that good? How can you take yourself to your edge, creating it in a way that you look at it and you go, wow, I'm actually fired up to do that. It's not a pain in the butt to redo this. I'm excited because this is going to take my business to a whole nother level. It's amazing how if even creating, I know a lot of people offer free things to your audiences so that they can get a taste of you and then come back and get more. Even doing a freebie offer well and doing it in a way where you look at it and you say, whoa, that is so good. I could be charging like $500 for that. That is really, really, really good. That's how you want to feel. So go back and feel into your offerings and pay attention to your guidance. If something doesn't feel quite right, ask yourself why, what needs to happen. And if it feels like, oh, it feels like a lot of work, or I don't know how to do that, or I can't afford to outsource that, just ask yourself, how could I? Leave it as an open-ended question right now. You don't need to force the answer and get into action immediately. It's just about looking for the inspired ways and the inspired strategies that will make you feel like you want to do it, and it will be easy. Sometimes it'll be a quick fix. Sometimes you might just need to change the pricing or the way you talk about the product on the sales page. Sometimes just changing a headline will change your whole energy around that offer. So it doesn't have to be hard. And if it feels hard, then you need to take another step back and ask yourself, how could it be easy? How could I, create the resources to make this as good as I really want to? And how can I do it fast? All right, the next step, which is the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This starts with the I, and this is what I call the double whammy. It's intention and inspiration. I've been talking a lot about inspiration already, but what happens when we're in business is people actually are not doing either of those things, even if they know better. They're not setting their intention for what they want to create with each project that they have. So before you move into saying yes to anything, whether it's creating a new product or a new service or redoing your marketing, or you're having a conversation with a potential client, or you're creating anything new, or you're doing an interview, like, well, this is not an interview, but doing a presentation with somebody, every single time that I am about to say yes to something, or I have an appointment on the books, I ask myself, what is it that I want to create here? It just takes me 30 seconds to ask that question. What's the best I can imagine happening as a result of moving forward with this? How do I want to feel doing it too? Because if I got on this kind of webinar and I was just going through the motions and I was doing it because I thought, quote, it would be a good thing for me to do, and that's what people in my industry are all telling me to do, then I wouldn't have the same gusto behind it. Like right now, I'm not following the script at all. I have my steps in front of me, so I know which order I do them in, and that's it. The rest of this, for me, because it feels good, is to do what feels good in the moment, knowing that I'm going to say whatever y'all most need to hear. And if it's not a fit for someone, they'll hop off the line and they'll go about their day. The rest of you who are here are going to enjoy it and love it, and the people that listen to it later will love it just as much. But I set my intention that it's fun, that you all get what you need, and that you be in inspired action and go redo some things in your business that they need doing so that you can source more profits through your business. If you don't set an intention, you're just going to get what you get. So often we're just going through the motions in our business, paying attention to what we think we should do in our business. So we get in motion, we put a strategy in place, we do what we think we're supposed to do with no clear outcome as a result from it. So for instance, let's go back to my launch again. I got my whole launch, doing my launch, something that's, you all can do this too. If you take on a project that stretches you, it will become your own personal seminar, your own workshop on how to be a better business owner. So last year when I was doing my big girl launch, and I was thinking about, well, what are the easiest ways to get this information out there in the world that won't take up a lot of my time, but will have a big impact? So one of the ways I chose was to get, promotional partners on board to support my launch. Well, that scared me a whole heck of a lot. It was my definite cringe factor. I thought, that is the one thing in my business that makes me cringe, going and asking people to promote me. It just feels like, oh, I don't want to bother people. They're so busy anyway. That means I have to be really clear about the outcomes that people would get from my program, so I've got to really refine my message so I can go talk to these people to promote me. I just had all these reasons why it felt scary to me. So I thought, well, you know what? I better set an intention around this. How many promotional partners do I want to have? And that number that I came up with scared me. I picked a big number. I picked the number 100. I'm going to go at 100 people to support me. And I thought, because that will make me go do it, right? I have to stretch into outside of my comfort zone over here. And I thought, well, if I want to do 100 promotional partners, get them to say yes to me, how can I make this fun? Because if I'm scared the whole time, not that many people are going to say yes, and I'm going to dread asking people for help. So I came up and I brainstormed some ways that would make it fun for me. Did I get 100 people? No. I did get 60 people though, which was pretty amazing to me. And here's the interesting part, because I also set this intention. I want to have a breakthrough around asking for help around promoting me. And I did. In fact, I had it in the first month that I was on this mission of getting people to promote me. And I ended up going the opposite route. I got so excited to ask people to support me. I was like, man, I better tone it down a little. I actually have to go start working on the content and everything else I'm supposed to do for this big launch, because I got so into and excited about all the different fun ways that I could get people to say yes to me. I had a blast. But if I had not set that intention, I guarantee you it would have been like forcing myself every day, having to do an hour worth of, mindset shifting to get me to go follow up with people to help ask them to promote me. So set your intention and follow the inspired way of doing it. Like a lot of people had told me, oh, Gina, if you want to go get promotional partners, you just need to get on the phone and be dialing people and get on the phone and have lots of conversations and create relationships with these people. And I thought, I don't have time to be on the phone with people. I love creating a relationship, but I better find a different way of doing it because I only work part-time. I mean, a big week for me is about 30 hours, based on the kids and what I have going with taking kids to school and different little classes they take during the day. So I'm like, I cannot spend that time. I cannot do this the traditional way that everybody else does it. What is the way that feels inspired to me? I ended up coming up with, crazy fun ways. Everything from getting someone who was a President Obama impersonator to do a 30-second message that audio message that I sent out to, potential people who I'd want to promote me, to doing quick little videos. And every single one of those things did not feel like a task for me. It wasn't heavy. I was excited to do them. So you have to find your own unique way of, getting things into motion in your business, but let it all stem from a really clear intention. And for me, intention is not this thing that I hope will happen. It's a decision in my mind. When I said I wanted to get 100 promotional partners, in my mind, it's like, okay, you're solid about this. You're going for 100. Let's go. Let's put this into motion. Let's find some fun ways so that I don't feel tortured in the process. And that's exactly what we did, and I had a blast. All right, so last but not least, I've also hinted at this. It starts with a T. Tap into your inner business expert. That is what's going to make everything easy. So all of you have an inner business expert, whether you realize it or not. So when you don't know the next step to take, or you're looking for clarity, or you're wondering if multiple choice questions on strategies, what should I do? Then you need to tap into this place. And I say it's a badass, money-making, highly creative genius inside of you that knows exactly what to do for any business inquiry you have. It's just realizing that you actually have this knowing inside of you, this intelligence. Most of us know what our strengths are, and then when we get to something where it feels like uncharted territory, we immediately shut down our brilliance because we say, oh, well, I don't know how to do that. So I'm either not going to do it, or I better go find someone to help me do it, which is not a bad thing to do. But often, if we'll just settle down, instead of, freaking out about what next steps to take, or getting ourselves in confusion or overwhelm, and just say, again, this is where you push away from the desk, go for a walk, or just some downtime where you can just not be in your head, but tap into that place, or the truth and infinite intelligence lives within you, and ask an open-ended question. So I just allow myself to get quiet, feel into the calmness. I breathe, especially if I'm stressed. Take some nice deep breaths, knowing that, trusting that all is well. Whatever this issue is that I'm having, or the clarity that I'm seeking, it will all be clear very soon. And then I'll ask an open-ended question like, I need an idea for making promotional partner requests fun. Or how do I make this next task easier than I can imagine? Like, for instance, I was talking to my coach about writing a second book. And I thought, what am I, crazy? I thought one book in a lifetime is enough, right? My first book was a little bit of a crazy experience because we were on a deadline and we had publishers. And yeah, I just never written a book before. And it was like, oh my gosh, wow, I need to make this easy. And so when I thought about writing the second book, I thought, well, I don't have a lot of time. And two, I need to make this feel like it's not overwhelming. And if I can't make it feel like it's a fun thing to do, then I'm not writing the book. Like, there's no reason for me to write a book if it's going to feel like torture. So I was thinking one day, all right, I'm going to talk to my coach about this. And I said, here's my issue I have with writing a book is it feels like something I want to do, but the time constraints make it feel like a pressure. And the last thing I want to do is write a book from pressure because it won't be a good book. If I'm rushing, I'll make mistakes. I won't have access to, like my own guidance and inspiration and all the cool ideas that will help people in their quest to make more money. So we started talking about it, and my business coach said, well, what if you just wrote really short chapters? And I thought, oh my gosh, what a great idea. How many books have I bought because somebody says, oh my gosh, this is a great book, or somebody's offering a free book, and I think, oh my gosh, I love that title. I want that book. And then it just sits around because I don't have time to consume it. And so I have all these ebooks, and I buy a lot of books, hard copies on Amazon or my Kindle, and I read a lot. I love reading, but I never get to them because I feel like, oh, it's a big project. I'll get to it when I have time. So I thought, that is so perfect. Nobody has time. I'll create the whole book around 10-minute strategies because everybody thinks that money-making strategies have to be these huge, cumbersome, long processes, right? It's really heavy. So as soon as he said write short chapters, it triggered all these ideas in my head, and like within minutes, I knew exactly the format of the book. I knew what the book was going to be about. I mean, I only vaguely had an idea before, but as soon as he said short chapters, my brain went like, 10 ideas all at once. And it wasn't, I didn't have that inspiration or the ideas until I asked the question. I want to find a way, what's the easiest way for me to write this book in the shortest amount of time? Question mark. Right? Just tapping into my own inner business expert. And it wasn't until I brought that question forward and talking with my coach, and he said that one thing, and because I felt like I was really clear that I was going to find a way, otherwise I wasn't going to write the book. And I was really clear that it wasn't just me having to figure this out by myself, and it wasn't my coach either, because the coach is not even he's not necessarily a book coach or anything like that. He's a marketing coach. So normally I don't even go to him with those kind of questions, but I felt guided to say what was on my mind about it. And then from there, I wrote the book. I mean, to say I wrote it in record time is an understatement. And get this, I ended up having a tumor in my wrist, and I didn't know it was a tumor, so I let it go, and I let it go, and I let it go. And then I finally went to the doctor, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the only way to get rid of this is with surgery. And I thought, okay, surgery it is. But they made it sound like it was going to be no big deal. Well, it ended up being a huge deal. I couldn't type, which is my lifeline in my business. And I had my arm in this huge splint that made it impossible to do anything. I couldn't write, I couldn't type, I couldn't do anything. And here I'd already committed to the book. And I thought, oh my gosh, now I really got to tap into my inner business expert. How do I make this easy? Typing with one hand, I finished that book in record time after I had my little temper tantrum. I had my 2 or 3 day temper tantrum after I had the surgery because it was right in the middle of writing the book. This all happened right smack dab in the middle. And so the fact that I wrote it in record time, it ended up being easy, and I had a blast doing it, is a testament to the power of tapping into your own inner business expert. Now, most of you might be already doing something like this, but what I see happening a lot, even with people I teach this process to, is they're getting the guidance, they're not following through. They like discount the expertise that's coming through because A, it either sounds too easy, or they blow it off as a crazy idea rather than solid information that they should run with. They're just not trusting the information. So if you do this, the most important part of this step is to trust the information that's coming through. A lot of times if I write a lot of marketing copy because most of my marketing is done through the internet and emails. So a lot of times when I'm sitting down to write copy, I just say, and I'm not a professional copywriter by any means, and I'll just say, all right, give me, inner business expert, give me the words that I need to say, and then I'll just start typing. And I trust it. And I'll trust any words that come out with my slang. And I'm from California, and I grew up in the 80s, so I have all this Valley Girl speak that I talk. I use a lot of slang, and I just trust that if that's what I'm writing, that's what I need to say. So there's your new fail 6-step profit formula, and I'll just go over those really quickly again. First one is perceive yourself as a massively profitable business owner. Second step, receive everything that comes to you with extreme appreciation. Take it for what it is. It's evidence that you're on the right path. Third step, oneness with your ideal customers. You want to get up in their heads and hearts. Have that higher self to higher self conversation. The fourth step is you want to feel into your offering. So go take inventory and make sure everything that you're offering up, your services and your products, is a hell yes, all the way down to the pricing. The fifth step is intention and inspiration. So you never want to move forward unless you're clear on your outcomes and you're inspired for how you're going to implement that intention. And last but not least, tap into your inner business expert and trust the expertise and the guidance that you get from there. So that's your formula. And the truth is all of that is inner game, but your inner game is going to lead you to the ideal strategies and structures that you need to put in place and the systems in your business that will rock your world. Because nobody loves a strategy more than me. I geek out on strategies, but I didn't when I used to feel like I had to do what other people said, other experts, and do it in a way that didn't feel good, or it just felt like, oh man, this is not my genius. I don't know how to do this. And I just find the strategies that I like, that look good to me, and then find a way to make them my own.
Right.
So if you know that if you have taken the steps above, as I outlined, and you do them, that is enough. Most of you will want to make it way more complicated than that. Like you think your entire business is built from marketing, and I say it's built from how you're feeling, and your whole, like your inner game decides every single thing that you put in place in your business is decided by inner game. So if your inner game is off, what happens is you might only get so far, like you might have a cash infusion in your business, but you won't make money consistently. So how you feel determines your profitability. And if you feel good, you're doing the exact thing you need to be doing at the moment. And it's not to say the buck stops there. It doesn't, because if you're feeling good, you'll keep finding new and exciting things to implement, and you'll have a good time doing it. So I have 2 things for you. The timing is really good for me to be on the call with you all, because I am actually giving away my new book for free right now for the next couple of weeks. And right now, this week specifically, it's on Kindle. So if you have a Kindle app or you have a Kindle device, then it's super easy to download. And for all of you who don't have a Kindle, we have it as a PDF that you can download to your computer or any device that you have. And it's called, you're going to love it, 10-Minute Moneymakers, how to easily double your profits in just 10 minutes a day. So if you can just take 5 or 10 minutes a day, and it doesn't mean every day, but even just to read it and start cracking open the book, because it's got 14 different strategies that are super easy to implement that will help you double your profits in record time. And I'm not just saying that. And these are both inner and outer game strategies, and it's all stuff I'm not making up. It's like I've done them. I've had my clients do them. They consistently help people amp up their profits in a way they had not expected, because my whole tagline is double your profits, double your fun. And most people think, well, that's a good idea, but I don't really believe I can do it. It would be cool if I could, but I don't believe I can. And they start implementing this stuff. They're like, oh, damn, I can. So to go download it, you can go to tinyurl.com, tinyurl.com /10-minute money. tinyurl.com /10-minute money, and you're going to spell out the number 10. It's T-E-N.
And I have also put it, Jeanna, in the chat box with a hyperlink to that. So people can just click on it. Yes.
Easy. See, we're making it easy.
Yes.
And then I also wanted to give you another gift that will help based on the stuff I've already told you today, and it's a free, it's a template to do your own map to profits, like map it out. And then you also get my map of how I tripled my profits. The very first year I cracked 6 figures. Like I've been working my butt off, trying to put in place all the things I needed to put in place, and I just couldn't. I was like, I kept making the same amount of money every year. And it was the year that I actually had the most fun. I took my work week down to 3 days a week. Was the year I tripled my income and finally made it into 6 figures. This was years ago. And that's kind of like opened my eyes to, oh my gosh, strategy isn't the only thing that works. It's when I changed my mindset, the strategies that I already had in place started working the way they were supposed to. So y'all can all download your map to profits. Again, I'm going to give you a tiny URL. So tinyurl.com/JV Profit Map. JV Profit Map.
And that one is as well in the chat box with a hyperlink.
Cool. It's fun. It's like this infographic. You guys will love it. And then I also have it. I have the story too. I put the narrative with it for those of you who are like, I don't care about a visual. Just give me it in words. There's a visual. There's a whole narrative of how I tripled my income that year. So that way you can see that it was both inner and outer game, and more inner than out.
Yes. Jeanna, this is just wonderful. I can't tell you how inspiring it is for me, because I'm like you. I believe that I need to follow my feelings, and that isn't what a lot of the experts say. So I'm delighted
no, it's almost like you feel bad if you're not doing what they say to a T.
Yes.
It's like, okay, well, they said this is the only way that will work, so I'll do it their way. And the whole time you're thinking, man, this is hard.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Or how come I did it their way and it didn't work? I did everything they said, and I didn't increase my sales. In fact, that happened to me. I hired this marketing coach, and I say marketing coaches because that always felt like that was really my weak. That was not my genius.
Right.
I felt like, wow, if I need to do this, I need to bump up my income. I need to hire a marketing coach. And this one year I did everything. I was promoting a new program, and I said, I'm going to take my time. I was so used to winging it, just throwing stuff out there and seeing if it stuck. And, well, maybe people will sign up. I hope they do. I did all the right stuff from a marketing standpoint. And I mean, to the T, I was so proud of myself. I was like, good job, girl. And nobody bought. And that was, I mean, that rarely had ever happened to me before. And at this point in my career, it was not happening. That used to happen in the beginning. Usually I have classes, and maybe they're not as big as I wanted, but I definitely have people sign up. Nobody signed up.
Oh.
And in the end, we went through all, and I said, I need a coaching call, emergency coaching call. I'm grieving. Nobody signed up for my program.
Yes.
And she went through all the steps. And she said, I said, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure I did everything you told me. And I said, I think I'm the problem. And she said, well, hold on before you go making up stuff. Let's go through this. So we went through all the steps. And at the end of the call, she said, Jeanna, you did do everything right. It must be you. And I said, I think it's because I was so attached to leveraging my time that I really wanted this program to work. And I felt like this is this program has to work or else I'm doomed. Right. And I'll tell you what, after I got over my little grieving process, 3 days later, I just started relaxing about it, trusting. My intention was I'm still going to increase my income. I'll find a way. I don't know what it's going to be. That next month, I doubled my profits. I wasn't even promoting anything. There was no marketing. I wasn't offering that program anymore. And it was all based on I shifted my energy. And I said, man, that was easy. I'm going to make another intention that I consistently increase my income every year, no matter what strategies I put in place, what fails, what succeeds in my business. And I'll tell you what, it's been 9 years. 9 years. I've had an increase in income every single year. And I tell you what, every single year I have more fun in my business. So I want you all to go out and have some fun.
That is just brilliant. Thank you so much. It was a wonderful presentation, and I know I took copious notes. I'm sure the other people attending did as well, and we'll be clicking on your links and get further information. Thank you, Jeanna, so much. And thank you to everyone for taking the time today, for listening to this presentation and getting, I'm sure, all the value that I did from it. Best of luck with all of your businesses, and I know that, Jeanna, you will continue to be successful. Thank you so much today. Have a great day. Bye-bye.